Thank you. Deputy Maureen,
I'm sharing with Deputy Wallace. Thank you. There's a lot that's positive in the bill. However, there is a but, and the major but relates back to the number of reports and rules and recommendations that have been made about single cell occupancy. And of course, European Prison Rule 18.1 on accommodation, it said, and I quote, "It shall respect human dignity and as far as possible privacy and meet the requirements of health and hygiene." That's further taken up that prisoners shall be accommodated during the night in individual cells except where preferable to share. And if they were sharing, that it will be with prisoners who are suitable to each other. Going back to the Whittaker report in 1985, which is very, very critical of our penal system, and they set out basic living conditions. And I quote from that: "Normally, and always where a prisoner so desires, private sleeping accommodation in single cell." In 1985, nearly all were in single cells, but today 60% of prisoners are sharing cells. Former Governor John Lonergan also stressed this importance of single-cell accommodation and the need for personal space. And in 1994, the Department of Justice also spoke about providing additional places to eliminate the doubling up. And when you were announcing this prison in 2012 and saying it would eliminate the practice of prisoners having to slop out, you also had the point about adequate and suitable accommodation. And of course, that was taken to mean that there would be a commitment to single-cell accommodation, which is international best practice. And of course, allied to the single cell occupancy is the issue of personal hygiene, and it's very welcome that the new building will mean an end of slopping out in the Cork Prison because of the in-cell sanitation. But unless that section there and elsewhere is walled off, of course there's not going to be privacy when it comes to using the toilet. Now, okay, people are in prison because they've done wrong, so we're not talking about hotel accommodation, but it really is an insult to human dignity to expect a person to use a toilet in front of another person. In November 2011, you reported that there were 1,885 prisoners using the toilet in presence of others. The normal human activities like eating and studying and reading and watching television, we don't do those in the same place where we use the toilet. Sharing also creates other problems. We know that an increase in violence and intimidation. And I am really, and I use the word heartbroken, when I see young lads from Dublin 1 and 7, and they contribute an awful lot to the prison population. They go in drug-free, but they come out addicted to drugs because of who they've had to share their cells with. And then just finally, I do share the concerns of the Jesuit Centre and their disappointment that this bill has plans for doubling up, and they see it as a retrograde step and a breach of international best practice.
Thank you. Deputy Wallace.